Hello and welcome to another replay analysis, 7.27c. This game is from Evil Mermy. It's going to be Clinkz. It's going to be in the mid lane. He said he had some issues, at least mechanically, in this game. So we'll see, again, first perspective, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of what he's looking at, Jin Mori here. And then we'll see how this one goes out. He's laning up against, I believe, a Kunkka. Kunkka, yeah, he was chilling here. 6 tangos in, no shared tangos. Oh my gosh. But he does have his Quelling Blade. You don't have any shared tangos either. Like, what? Guys, why aren't you pulling, tangos to the mid laner? Apparently you guys don't want to win. Okay, but you got your ward. You haven't put it in. You haven't dropped it. Alright, we're going to fast forward this stuff. Ain't got time for this. Alright, so, okay. Body block, you missed it. You already failed. That's 1x. 1x. 3 strikes and you're out, my friend. But you got to make the body blocks. It matters. Okay? You get scrolled out here. Okay. Alrighty, hang on. Timeout, pause. Right. What you've done now is you've gone into the lane. You missed the body block. First things first. Second thing is that if we're looking at this, is that at this moment, you probably should click on him. That's the first thing you do. Okay? He'll probably do the same thing to you. Reason being is that he knows that you've got an observer ward, right? You don't want to give away that information. This is why, generally speaking, when you were dancing around for the first minute or so before the game even started, mids will come out here. They'll sneakily, if that's a word, they'll be sneaky, and they'll place a ward here, you know what I mean, or here, or whatever it is, some sort of defensive ward so they can see the high ground. But already, you've kind of gotten to the situation where they've seen the ward, right? And this guy's going to want to buy sentries anyways because of the fact that you're Clinkz. So know that it's coming, okay? So that's another that initially just sticks out to me. Because giving up those wards, especially early, just not great. Because it's a lot of XP, it's, gold as well, and you're trading here. And why aren't you spamming your mana when you're shooting the fire arrows? Oh! Fairy fire just to keep yourself alive. Okay, sometimes I scream like a girl. Don't judge me. Okay. Don't push the lane here. This is mechanically bad. This is mechanically bad. Alright? The reason being is that if you're pushing the lane... Okay. You have to think of it as your lane constantly wants to push... Like, their lane needs to push you. Okay? And so that you control the lane based off of that. You want to keep them outside of the tower range if possible. If you can't, at least the creeps are under your tower and you try your best to just last hitting. If you're out here... Like, right now, it's a pretty good spot because the Kunkka's on the low ground. Right? And so it's not really range and he is Tidebringer. So that's not the biggest of deals, right? But the thing is that just you pushing the lane by trying to get the last hit actually affects this lane in total, right? Like you can literally throw the entire lane because you're pushing the lane and all of these guys are going to be under... Okay, hang on, let me go to free camera. Will be under your tower... And then he can just get free XP, as opposed to him being vulnerable out here, trying to leech off as much XP and try to get as many last hits as possible. Mind you, he needs to go high ground to even go to the last hit, right? So this is a super important mechanical thing in terms of just understanding the lane mechanics. And you have to be a pro at this, and you must know exactly what this is because of the fact that you're a mid laner. Right? If you look at Thompson, if you look at Miracle, like the guys that play like Riha, like the mechanically sound guys, this is where they win the game, right? If you win and you understand exactly how to manipulate the creep wave, your games will be way easier for you because your opponent will never get a last hit. If he's a range guy, he can never shoot from low ground to high ground. Like you're protected in so many different ways, right? So that's like the biggest tip is just understanding not to just hit things willy-nilly. You're missing last hits for what? What are you doing, dude? What? Okay. All right. Mechanically, to get a last hit, you have to attack the creep. All right. My 2 cents of wisdom right there. No, but like, why did you not go for the last hits here? What are you doing? What are you doing, sir? What are you doing? What, like you just what was that? What, did you just have a brain fart? Like, did your mom call you? Like, what happened? Okay. Hang on. So, do I position aggressively because he's in melee or is it high ground? So, okay. Okay, let me rewind this. All right. To get to that point. I'm scared to cleave. Okay, so here's the thing, right? So, hang on, right here. What you should be doing, like, look, if he's going to walk up, he's going to tie bring one of these guys. His positioning. Think of him like a TA. He's going to perfectly, you know what I mean? Like, he's going to line you up behind him. You're like pretty much the 8 ball, right? And he's going to hit the cue ball here, right? So what you need to do is you could probably have put yourself here, meaning that he probably wants to go to this end to do any of that tiebringer stuff, right? And as he's walking over here, you could literally walk out of aggro range and then move, like you would probably quickly move here, take a step outside of the 300 area, the aggro mechanic piece, and then get a free right click on this guy. You need to zone him out. If you're a ranged hero and you're up against a melee, and obviously Kunkka is a very good mid laner because he has Tidebringer, but generally speaking, range to melee, range has an advantage because you have that range, right? Understanding your distances. And again, I had that YouTube video, I don't know if you saw that, with the attack vectors of positioning. You have to get in the maximum range of your ranged attack and then keep him there. And then if he steps forward, you step backwards. You do this tango, so to speak. Right now, you're kind of in this weird position where you're actually playing to his advantage because he can just tide bring off of these creeps because you're staying, like, this is the cue ball. Like, you know what I mean? So you always want to make him move to you. Do you understand that, right? So another thing is that even if he goes here and he tries to, you know what I mean, like to walk up to the high ground here, and then he tries to go for that cleave, the Tidebringer one, all you need to do is consistently, like, you need to move around. Like, you just react to where he's moving. But when I play Dota, sometimes my wrist hurts. I'm an old man. But basically, like, so you kind of, you know what I mean? So whenever he tie brings, like, you can see where the Tidebringer is coming from. Because he's going to move to that opposite end, and then he's going to hit it. Right? But the thing is that what you need to do is you need to react to where he's going. So that you're kind of, again, doing a tango with where he's going. And so if you're in a better position, if you're more aggressive on the high ground here, is that you can actually get some free shots. If you back up a little bit outside of that 300 attack range, I think that this is just barely in, then you can back up here, get a shot in, and then come back in. Right? And so then when he goes and he moves in, he has to actually move forward, and then he attacks one of your creeps, and then they could potentially aggro onto him. Right? I hope this is making sense. Right? Because right there, you're not really, as a range guy, and he's going to salve here, you needed to have been here, because then he would have salved up on the high ground himself. He would have protected himself. But you've given him space because you're not in that perfect attack vector range. Right? So he can just do whatever he wants. He's fine. Yeah, he's on the low ground. But with the creep wave in a perfect spot for you, and the fact that you're not in the proper positioning, this is why you're suffering. And I think J-Game said it himself, is that the Iron Branch into the Tango, you should have done that earlier. Right? Especially when you traded like that. Okay, so let's continue. And you don't get the last hit here. You missed 2 there. You missed the range one, which is actually massive in terms of gold. And you're afraid of a Tidebringer. Yes, he could get it, but you didn't do that 2 tango thing. And you're not getting last hits. So you actually sidestepped that Tidebringer if he was going to do it. And now you're trying to get the attacks in. Okay, so then you should tangoing. You should use the Iron Branch on that one, if anything. Salve first item. Yeah, salve can work too. But the Iron Branch into the Tango, I think that's the first thing you do. That's why you carry these Iron Branches. Don't look at these things as trying to get the wand up. I think that you need to look at these more of the most value and efficiency. Yeah, you walked into that. You walked into that one, right? Watch slowly how this guy, you need to counter his movements, right? You see him walking, right? Which one do you think he's going to go on, right? This creep is hitting this ranged one. This one is going to die. This is the one he's going to target. So you need to maneuver around this. You got to work around the Tidebringer. I understand it's super difficult because you're looking at HPs, you're looking at everything. But A, you're not even harassing him when he walks up to this. You need to punish this motherfucker every time he goes up in the high ground. Okay? Like, instead, okay, now you did it, which is late, right? And then he just wombo combos you off of that Tidebringer, doing a lot of damage to you. Okay? Now you can't trade because there's 2 creeps. It's going to push on back. Let's go into the next one. Last hit. No, you missed that one. Missed that one. I don't know if you got that one, actually. I don't think you did. Yeah, your last hitting is not... Where you have not got a single last hit, mate. Alright, another thing is that you know... Okay. Another thing is that when you're playing against someone like a Kunkka, this is where, yeah, you might have lost the laning win, right? But at the end of the game, if I'm asking you right now, what is the cooldown on Tidebringer level 1? What is it? Do you know what it is? Evil Mermy? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna pause. Do you know how long it is? Okay, I'm gonna assume you don't. And the level 4 is 4 seconds. Yeah, I think you're right too. But you need to also know the cooldowns on Tidebringer from level 1, and you know what I mean, like at least the first 3 levels. I mean, he's gonna maximize it, right? You need to know every single level. This will help you improve in Dota, right? Because if you know that he Tidebringered and he's only like level 1 or whatever, or level 2, because he can only be level 1 in Tidebringer, you know that you have 13 seconds to harass him and to get him out of position so that he can't Tidebringer you again. Okay? So this is an internal learning thing that needs to happen outside of Dota as well. Like, yeah, you can play the games and you can play this matchup 100,000 times, but if you're not knowing the exact details of the game, of the mechanics of this type of stuff, you're not doing a good job of trying to learn Dota, right? It's kind of like in the sense of like if you're a fighter, right? Karate, MMA, whatever it is, you need to know what your opponent can do. What is he really good at? Is he good at grappling? Is he good at, jiu-jitsu? Is he good at, taekwondo? What is kicks? What do I need to worry about? Is it roundhouse? What are these things? Right? So in that same way, you need to look at yourself as, how do I counter this guy? What are his strengths? What are his benefits? How do I punish him when you know what I mean, by counteracting his strengths? Right? So even the 13 seconds to the 10 seconds to 7, all of these things you need to internally know so that you're on an internal timer so that when he does it, you know, okay, I've got 12 seconds to fuck around. I can do my own thing. I can do my own damage. Okay? So you're learning more about the game as well. And so that when you're up against the Kunkka the next time, you're going to come in with an advantage because you know exactly what the guy brings to the table. Cool? All right, we're going to continue. All right. And you've zoned him out. You didn't really get a whole lot of last hits. This is very worrying to me. Right? If you're going to get 0 and 2 denies... Yeah, and you're pushing it. You didn't get the deny on your own side. Okay, that's your first last hit at 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Okay? Mechanically, okay, so this is what people are saying. Okay, you walked outside of that Tidebringer. That was really nice. That was really good. And now you know he's level 3. He's got 10 seconds left. So now I can control it. Now you can deny your own guys. You can deny. You can deny. You can deny. You don't give a fuck. You don't care what I'm saying. You're going for this. Oh, you got torrented. But you're baited. Another thing is that you're fighting under creeps. Oh, okay. You're taking a lot of risk. It's unnecessary risk, right? Because there were 3 creeps there and him, and he had that torrent. That could have gone disastrously bad. And you got lucky that you did do that dodge, honestly. But here's the thing now, is that when they have 3 creeps like that, you have to respect him. Not for the damage that he brings, but the fact that you're attacking the hero also while you're getting jumped on by the 3 creeps. They will all aggro on you because it's all right next to each other. So it's super close there. You need to understand the aggro mechanics. So when we're talking mechanically, that's the biggest weakness I'm seeing for the first thing, right? It's just understanding how to manipulate the creep wave and understanding all of that. I think that you don't need to worry too much about the high-level stuff in terms of pushing out all the other lanes, or even making rotations and ganks. I think that Clinkz will naturally do that as part of his kit, so to speak. But in terms of you last hitting, this is what you really need to work on. Literally, your position 5s and everyone else in this game has more last hits than you, right? Like, okay, so you tried to dodge that one. Yeah, you had to be a little bit safer. Oh, man. Oh, he's got you X'd. Torrented? Yep. You're going to do a lot of work. He's slowed you down. You don't even have a fairy fire. And the creep. Why are you trying to fight? And you get the kill in the end. But, I mean, okay. Dying here, you're thinking, oh, I got even. But the thing is that it's a problem because it's so early that he got the XP off of your kill. Right? So that's something you need to worry on too. Okay, another thing, you bought consumables. You bought more tangos coming in. And you have 2 Sage's masks. Okay? Did you get a 2-for-1 special? I don't know what these 2 are, right? This is not good. Okay, that's fine. But, like, this is 600 gold, right? This 600 gold could have gotten you a bottle, which you could have bottled that. Oh, you didn't even searing arrows. Whenever you attack Kunkka, you have to do searing angles. Searing arrows. You must. Now you know what I mean? Like, okay. So you're 3 and 5, mate. 3 and 5. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to go into more than 10 minutes. I think that the first 5 minutes will be sufficient. You didn't get that last hit either. Because right now you got to work on the mechanics in terms of just last hitting, aggro management. You got to work on this. And to be honest, I feel like if you really want to play mid, I think you need to practice more in one-on-ones. The first 10 minutes is more important to you than anything else in this game right now. Because this 10 minutes is like the early game in chess, where if you have a good 10 minutes and you understand how to play and get last hits, everything else will be super easy because you've set yourself up for success. Okay? But to be honest, actually, I appreciate the fact that you sent me this replay. I think that there's yes, it kind of sucks that I'm kind of railing on you, and I apologize if I'm being mean. But honestly, I'm just seeing these things that can really help you. I think that you can really learn a lot from these types of things. And last hitting is definitely one of those things that is not easy for any people, like, without practice. And so, again, just don't last hit, or don't just hit creeps willy-nilly. You're 7 and 7, 6 minutes. Yeah, you don't have boots, so you're kind of slow. And another thing is that at some point, this Kunkka, I mean, he's level 6 now. He's got 2 bracers, and he's level 6. So the potential for him to boat torrent you, kill you, is high. It would be higher with his percentages if you bought a sentry. But, you know, again, I don't know the MMR. I feel like this is somewhat on the lower end because of the fact that, like, it's an easy kill for him if he gets a sentry. And he can shut you down, okay? All right, cool. Yeah, if you got to chase you. Sorry, J Games. What was the question? If you're playing Zeus, would you use Zeus ulti to get kills, or a minor advantage to get back into the game? This is it's like all things that aren't really absolute in terms of Dota, right? I think it really depends on the game. Like, it's not all about the, like, sometimes it's good to start the fight with the Thunder God's Wrath, because like if they got blink daggers and stuff like that, they have to wait the extra 3 seconds, and then you can initiate and get your fights in, right? And then plus it scouts out everybody, right? So that's why the Thunder God's Wrath could be super powerful. But if we're talking more in the lines of like it really depends on the team fight, how you expect that thing to go, right? So, all right, 7 minutes 32 seconds. Okay, another thing to note, Evil Mermy, is that at 10 minutes, your goal in terms of last hitting should be about 80 last hits, okay? And if we're looking at 8 minutes, you're really behind, 11 and 9. So I'm thinking at least at this point, just to kind of get yourself into the groove, is to play this hero 10 games in a row, okay? Get mid every single time, and it might actually it might be better for you to just play in a bot game. Put it on extremely hard, the hardest level, and just play the first 10 minutes of that game, and just leave it after. Because I think this will just teach you, because all they care about right all they care about right now, all you should care about right now is, how do I last hit more? How do I get better in just last hitting? Because once you control that and you completely dominate that, your game, honestly, dude, like, once you're fat, this game becomes super easy. It's like, you know what I mean? Like Spectre, you just haunt. You know what I mean? Like, I haunt in RD, and then I'm on a guy, and I just let the game just kind of play itself. But yeah, like, I think that, like, this will really help you. So we're almost at 8 minutes and 50 seconds, and you've kind of let him dominate the lane, and this is kind of why you're losing. Obviously, you're fine in terms of levels, but he's 39 and 1. Look at net worth, and here comes the boat combo. Why not? And he missed the X. All right, so that is what it is. But yeah, you don't need 2 Sage's Mass. I think that this is not great. Your itemization, and okay, this is something that I also talk about on my stream, is that you have a guide. Okay? Whatever the highest rated guide is, assuming it's the mid, or, core, or whatever, I forgot the classification for it, just follow the guide. don't outthink it. Don't outthink it. Don't think, oh, I need more mana regen or whatever. There's a reason why those guides are used by thousands of players out there, right? You just follow what the guide says, and that will help you. Like later on, once you understand Dota a little bit better, you can itemize properly, you know what I mean, like get Vessel or whatever, you know, Halberd, all these things that you might need later. But understanding right now, you need to stick with the cookie cutter build. I think that will help you too. Because this right now says hodgepodge, I don't know what I'm buying. I don't know why I'm buying it. But Spirit Breaker here. Nice, nice. That was a really nice rotation by the Spirit Breaker. Good charge. Where was that guy like 10 minutes ago? But, okay, so I hope you learned something in the first 10 minutes. I don't want to go into the entire game because obviously I said I was only going to do two today. But I hope you learned something. Thank you so much. Give a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you so much.